Hello, traders. My name is Anna and I am head coach at Leveraged. Today, we are on our third day of the risk management. And this is a really important one because I am going to talk about drawdown, control, and recovery, a really, really important part for us as traders. Um, and I hope that I can shine some light on this because I think it is so important to talk about these things not in a negative way. There's definitely positive ways how we can overcome our drawdown and how we can recover from that. And I do want to say that lucky enough, I am in a drawdown on my account. If you remember yesterday, I took some trades. They ended quite badly. And this is a great account that I can use to show you example. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to walk you through what's going on, like emotionally, how traders can react to things. But I want to take you directly to the charts because that's first of all what you guys like to see is when I talk on the charts and when I walk you through, because then you can see those real examples and I can share from my experience what has happened to me, because as a trader I have been in a drawdown, and currently as a trader I am also going through the drawdown period and I'm trying to adapt to these markets, and I want to share you like a little tips and tricks. What is it that we can do as traders to help us to go through these drawdown periods? Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my C Trader. Here you can see my C Trader account. So this is a 100K senior portfolio manager account. So I am currently on phase one, and you can see, if you can see, I am in a drawdown of 97. So my account balance is at 97,447. So it's about 2.5% drawdown. So first things first, let's try and walk us through. When I say that I am taking I'm taking the senior portfolio manager's account, I know that I need to reach 5% for my first simulation phase. I have 10% drawdown, 4% daily drawdown. Now, how do you feel when I say that I am in 2.5% drawdown? Is this something big? Do you feel it's a big drawdown? Do you feel it's a small drawdown? What is it that it causes you? What kind of emotion does it stir you up? Because now for myself, this is only for myself, okay? I think it's a normal drawdown. I think it's absolutely fine. I know that I have managed my risk well, and I'm just in the drawdown currently. Can I get out of it? For sure, 100%, if my strategy is performing and if I am performing as a trader. Now, let's talk first thing first is what action steps we can take. What is it that you need to do as a trader to now start to trade? Now, first of all, because I said this is something where I feel comfortable with, 2.5% drawdown is nothing great of the deal. So I can actually get into the market and I can risk 1% again. Now, I'll execute the trade. I'll be risking 1% because currently I feel I am okay emotionally. I can manage my risk, and I know that my strategy tells me 1% risk is still okay to use. So let's say we're looking at GU, we are going to sell this. We're going to sell. I'm just like guessing here, okay? I do want to remind you, please do not execute these trades. Whatever you do, always make sure that you're taking your own risk. Okay, so I'm going to sell this, and I'm going to use 1% risk. So I'm gonna put my stop at 22 pips. So in here in our risk calculator, we write in 22 pips, and I'm going to risk, it's going to be about 480 lots, a little bit less. Right, so, okay. Now I have executed my trade and I risked 1%. Now again, why did I risk 1%? Because this was where I felt comfortable with. Okay, so that's my trade is executed, and that's like an example one. Now, example two is now Anna again, right? So let's say different Anna. Now, currently, I know that I'm in 2.5% drawdown, and this is not comfortable. I feel my emotions are a little over the edge. I can't read the price action clearly. I am definitely a little bit stressed because this drawdown, I'm not feeling comfortable. So, now the first thing is when you are in drawdown, you need to ask yourself the question, do you feel comfortable? And obviously not like sitting comfortably sitting, but emotionally, what's inside of you? Do you feel it's okay? Right? So emotions are really, really important. I already touched on it yesterday that we are emotional beings and emotions will always be part of us. No matter how manual your strategy is, you will still feel some kind of emotion. Even when your trades are losing or winning, it will cause some kind of emotion. So before you decide what action you now need to take to recover your drawdown or to control your drawdown, you need to now not see, but feel, right? How do you feel? Do you feel fine? So in this example, I feel fine. I'm happy to risk 1%, 2% drawdown. I'm okay with this. Now, in this example right here, right, I am not sure. I'm not sure what I'm doing. So many traders will do this. They will just put like a little orders of 0.01 lots, couple orders here and there, let's say 5 orders. You can see that they are showing up right here now, right? And I'm just like, because I'm not sure what it's going to do, and I'm not willing to take a big risk. But at the same time, I want to be part of the market and I want to stay in the market. Now, if I would say to you, what is the red flag in here? What is it that I now am doing wrong? First of all, am I trading my plan? No, I'm putting a couple of orders in but I know my perfect setup would be risking all of it, right? Not all of it, risking my normal risk, which is 1%, adding stops above the previous structure and then targeting the previous structure as well. So I'm not trading my plan, right? So that's the first red flag. Another one is, what did I say? I just want to add a couple of orders. Well, let's put like a bigger lot size. Let's do 150. That's fine. That's still small. Let's add this order in right here. Okay. Because I'm risking like, let's see how much I'm risking here. It's only like $200. That's like 0.02% risk. So I'm not willing to go 1%, but I'm okay to put these small orders in here, right? So as you can hear, first of all, there's uncertainty, right? Second of all, there's FOMO. I am missing out. A fear of the missing out. The setup is there. But the worst of it all is that the setup is there. Your plan tells you to enter this trade, but your emotions, they're holding you back because you cannot accept the loss. Now, remember what I did yesterday. I said to you, whatever you trade, whatever you do, whenever you open a position, you take a piece of paper and you write down, can you remember? I accept what? Winners? No, I accept risk. This is what we write down. I accept risk. And I accept risk. What I do, I close down all these small orders. I close them down because I know they're mistakes. They are my mistakes. I close them down. And now I will enter a proper trade. I can now decide 2.5% doesn't feel right for me. And again, for some of you guys, maybe 2% drawdown is still okay and you feel comfortable. But because I am a little bit over the edge in here, right? So the things I can do is, first of all, I can lower my risk. So instead of risking my 1%, I can half my risk. Or at least risk a little bit less. So maybe like instead of putting the $1,000 on the line, I'm going to do 800. So again, this is what you need to ask yourself. What is it comfortable? Do you feel comfortable? Because if I accept the risk, right, I will accept the risk that I'm going to put on, and then I need to let go. But it's not going to be coupled the orders. It's not going to be small positions. There's not going to be fear of missing out. I'm acting according to my plan, and I'm acting according to the processes as a trader I have. So now Anna's going to calculate. I'm going to calculate the proper risk for this. So my stop loss is 35 pips right here. Okay. And I am willing to lose 0.5%. I'm willing to lose 0.5%. Remember yesterday, first, what we do, we accept the risk and we look at the loss, how much I'm willing to lose, not how much I'm willing to win, but how much I'm willing to lose. So this is it. I have put on a 0.5% risk. I'm risking 0.5%. I have put my stop loss and take profit. I have written myself a note. I accept the risk. I place my note somewhere in front of my desk or in front of the screen where I can see it. And it's always reminding me that I have accepted the risk on this trade. Now, what I did to control my drawdown is, first of all, I asked the question, how is it that you're feeling? And I feel, sometimes I'll be like this example in here. I feel fine. I can put the whole risk on this and I know it's going to be okay. Or sometimes, like in this example, I'm not so sure. I feel like 2% drawdown is already starting to affect my emotions. It's already starting to affect how I think about the market. So that's why I have the risk, right? So we ask ourselves how we feel, and then based on that, how mentally we're doing, and then we can decide what is it that we want to do. Do you want to trade with the full risk, or do you want to half the risk, or lower it to the point where it is again comfortable for you and you're going to trade with no emotion, and that you will just keep on trading your plan. Now, another thing to control your drawdown is, again, you need to go back to your plan, your trading plan, and you need to see what is it that you can do to manage your risk better. Maybe instead of like waiting, until your trade is hitting profit or stop, what you can do is take a partials. And again, you know what? I am a data-driven trader, right? That's exactly what I believe in, and that's exactly what I do. I am a data-driven trader. But if something like this happens where emotions are over the edge and I cannot control them, and it's like really, really hard for me to sit to watch the chart or to feel comfortable through the trade, then there are things that I can do. Instead of waiting until my profit or stop is hit, I can follow the price action and I can say, you know what, this is not anymore the price action where I feel comfortable, because this is not your emotions. Obviously, I'm not feeling comfortable, but you're reading price action. So making this decision cannot be emotional led. Like, it cannot be. If you see that this price action is changing and, we can see that there is this support area that is not willing to break. And if we break this structure right here, then I'm going to exit the trade. So these decisions that you're making to protect your drawdown, to not make it bigger, right? Those decisions are not emotional based. They are based on your trading. They're based on your trading plan. They're based on your skill as a trader. But obviously it stems from your emotions, like feeling unsure, feeling that this is not the right thing. I'm struggling to look at this price action. I'm struggling to press this button. I'm struggling to sit through this and feel comfortable. I'm always on the edge. And as a traders, we can definitely know how it is when you are feeling on that stress point where everything is pressing you. Have you ever experienced where trades are going bad and then you take it out on your loved ones? I am mom of 4, and starting trading, when I just started like looking into trading, I was only mom of 2, and then mom of 3, mom of 4. And I can definitely, my kids could tell when I was like upset because my trading was not going well. And they would be, Mom, did you had a bad trading day? And I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, they should not feel it. So we need to control our emotions so it doesn't affect the people that we love, or just like strangers, right? When you go on a walk and you just go, oh, my trades are losing, and you can't even smile to a person. That's like starting to affect everything around you. And it should not be that way. So that's why it's so important to take control of your drawdown as soon as you can. And if you are like in this example, person number 1 in here, if you see the drawdown, it's 2.5%. And if you know that this is still okay with you, you're not feeling alarmed, you're not feeling stressed or anything like that, you're still in control of your emotions, then go for it. Risk with what you would normally risk with, and place the trades what you would normally place, right? But again, if you are like this person, starting to feel uncomfortable, starting to feel all the emotions of, maybe I just can add a couple more orders in here and smaller orders. Maybe I should not trade at all, and miss this opportunity, right? Or maybe I should just like take a 0.5% risk and then just trade my plan and see how it goes. And let me tell you this, that option of trading your plan but lowering the risk is definitely what's much, much better for you as a trader. Awesome says the emotions are the biggest struggle. I agree with you. They truly are, and that's what I mentioned, that we are emotional human beings. We have emotions, and we have many of them. But some traders are better at controlling them. Some traders are better at hiding them, right? So, and I was definitely not one of them, because if I would have a bad trading day, I could take it out on my husband or on my kids or the friends around me, or I would just be like grumpy, grumpus, and walking around and feeling, sorry for myself, getting the pity party here. So as a traders, to protect our capital and to take control on the drawdown that we're experiencing, first is we need to be mentally stable to do that. So, and I know it sounds a bit like exaggerating, but that is the truth. We really need to be mentally ready, and to make a clear decision, you need to have a clear mind. So if you don't have a clear mind, and you will start to make mistakes, and you will start to mess with your risk, mess with your positions, you will start to trade things that you don't need to trade, right? So that's control. But now let's talk about the recovery, because one is like taking control over your risk, right? And in here we have done it. You can either trade the same risk if it's based on your plan, and you just keep on trading the same risk, or you can reduce the risk. But now how to take control of that, right? How to fully control it. Now, for me as a trader, I used to have like a rule, and listen to what I'm saying. I used to have a rule where I would, for example, if I go 3 losses in a row, let's quickly look at my history. Let's quickly look at the history. Here you go. Some confessions here. I'm terrible at emotional level, especially at losing streak. And that's okay. That's what traders normally experience. The most emotions comes from when we are in the losing streak, or when we are in the drawdown. You don't need to necessarily be like in your worst losing streak, but when you are in the drawdown, that can definitely affect you. Okay. Right, current week, I have taken many trades in here, right? And you can see I have a couple of winners, couple of losers, but you can see that my losers right here, they are much, much bigger than my winners, right? So my losers are like 1%, 1.2%, 1%, like 0.3, 0.2, but the winning trades are very, very, very small, right? So the thing that I used to do is when I take 3 setups and they all hit the stop loss in a row, the next trade I take, I lower my risk. And then I trade until I regain everything back. So let's say in here, I took 1, 2, 3 losses in a row. Then for this trade, instead of risking 1%, I would risk 0.5%. And then if I still keep on losing another 3 trades, then I would go to 0.25%, right? And that was the way how I used to like manage. But then through the time, what I realized is that it involves luck, because if you're a trader, once you take a losing trade, right, you take them, and then once the winner comes, you already have lowered your risk, right? So for example, I'm risking 1,000, 3 losses in a row, I'm 3,000 down, and then I decide I'm just going to risk 0.5%, which is 500 on this account, right? And what happens, that trade is a winner, and I win nice 3-hour trade. So my winner is now $1,500. But in reality, I'm still in a drawdown. I'm still in the drawdown because I lost 3,000, but I only made 1.5. That was cool. 1.5. I made 1.5. So, and again, that's why I decided that I'm not going to interfere with my risk. If I'm gonna risk 1%, it has to stay flat throughout. And because I really don't want the luck factor like playing here, because it's just like I don't know, some kind of sorcery magic, right? When you decide to lower the risk, then you get your winner. But when you decide to go on a full risk, and then you start to get losers. So I think it's rather for me to stay in the line with the same risk at all times. And this is, again, this is how you can take control of that. Like, you can either lower it down or you can keep on trading the same risk. You just need to make sure that emotionally you're doing great, you're not making any mistakes, and that you're following your plan, and you're really in the zone. You're really feeling like no unnecessary emotions, that you are just feeling okay, looking at your trades, they're winners, losers, you don't mind, you're just doing your process, you're a trader who's trading the plan, and you're just, that's it, like doing all the things that you need to do, right? So I think for us as traders, we need to decide for ourselves, because I can come here and preach and say, this is what you need to do. But the thing is, I don't know how you trade. I don't know your plan. I don't know your data. So for me to suggest something, it's actually really, really hard. And that's why I can just like give you the pointers of how it is, what is it that we can do, or how we can do it, how to recover, or how to take control over your drawdown, right? But in you know in all together, I can't really say this is what you need to do, right? And the thing is, if you are, let's say, trader who's trading a lot of small orders, right, then you just need to keep on trading that way, and you need to decide what is it that you can do. Maybe half the positions that you're taking, maybe check out the higher time frames, like try and figure out what is it that you can do. And like I said, I'm just here, I can suggest you things that you could try and do to take control and over your drawdown. And but in reality is that I don't know exactly what's going to work for you. So, and I can here share my experience, what has worked for me. But I do think, first of all, we need to ask our question, are we comfortable taking the risk that we're taking now? Are we comfortable trading the lot size we're trading now? Are we comfortable looking at the charts when we are in the trade? How does that make us feel? Do we feel more emotions? Do we start to feel more annoyed around the people? And these are really, really good questions to ask yourself. And once you know the answers, then you can figure out what is it that you can do next. What is going to be that step that you're going to take to control your drawdown, to control your losing streak? What is it that you can do? And to be fair, nothing much you can do, right? There is really nothing much. One is either lower the risk, right? That could be one thing. And another thing is just keep on trading the way you trade and accept the risk. This one here, accept the risk and keep on trading. If your data tells you that you're not going into the losing, like longer losing streaks, right? But then what happened to me is I used to have 3 to 4 losses in a row. Like 4 was already a lot. And now my losses in a row can be 6, 7, 8 losses in a row, right? So then because my data changed so much, I needed to take an action and I needed to halve my risk. Otherwise, I would actually what I didn't just halve my risk. I cut from 1% to 0.10. And I just needed to have that time for myself to recover mentally, I would say, to try and digest what's going on. Like, why am I losing so much suddenly, and why there are so many losses in a row, right? So again, like this decision has to be taken personally by you, right? So I can just suggest you the ways, but you need to take a decision, and you need to take decision based on how you feel and what your strategy and data tells you, right? So like walking through the examples, this is my first example where I entered 1% risk. If the price goes against me, I should not feel anything because I have accepted the risk, and I know that even I am in the drawdown, this trade is still actually okay, and it's a good trade, even if it is a loss, because remember, we accepted the loss in the beginning, and I know that I can lose $1,025 if this trade goes wrong. And because I accepted that risk, I'm okay with that. And I know that maybe after this trade, then I will need to figure out what is it that I want to do. Do I want to keep on trading on the same risk? How does that make me feel? Because I don't know what's going to happen yet, right? Because I'm just like thinking, if this hits the stop loss, then maybe I should lower the risk a little bit. But like in here, for example, again, we have accepted the risk. We're risking only 0.5% because I'm not feeling comfortable with 2.5% drawdown. And I just want to make sure that I'm taking that I'm protecting my capital, and I'm taking necessary steps to to control my drawdown and try and recover it in a way that suits me better, not to putting me through my emotional roller coaster where I need to feel on the edge. Because if I would have risked 1%, I would probably have thought, so maybe I should just close it. It's already $59, and maybe I should just close it. Because I'm sure we all have been through this. I'm sure there are traders who are watching this. If you're watching this, and if you ever had this where you're in the trade, it's in the profit, you're just like, I just want to take what's in here, which is $66 now. I'm just going to take it. Can I just please close it? And then, and maybe, I'm not saying, well, okay, I'm just saying this has happened to me. I'm like closing and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to close it. And then suddenly the reflex happens and you're like, oh no, I closed the trade. And once the trade is closed, now the other emotion kicks in, regret. Why did I do it? This is still a good setup. I entered through my plan. I lowered the risk. I did everything necessary. And yet I messed up. I accepted the risk and yet I still closed the trade. I mean, those things, these conversations that I'm having with myself right now, I'm sure there are traders who has had them as well. And if you're one of the traders, there's no shame. It's just, traders get traders because we are on the same journey and most likely we have experienced the same emotions. And it's just how we react is different because we're all different. The way how I react to my losses could be completely different than you react, right? But these things happen. They really do. So, well, now thankfully price went into my way so I can enter again. So it went my way. I'm just going to enter again. I'm going to risk what I want it to risk with anyway. So 0.5%, the price went, and I'm just going to set my profit in here. These things happen all the time. And we're traders, we're humans. We're just learning how to control our emotions. But these would be the steps to take control over your drawdown and try and find the recovery. So ask yourself emotionally how you feel and then decide what is it that you need to do according to your trading plan. Should you lower the risk? Should you apply a trade management where you're going to take partials or you're going to exit the trade earlier based on maybe news events or whatever it might be? Maybe the structure will change on the price action and then you're going to exit your trade depending if it's going your way or against you. So these are the things that we can do to control our drawdowns. And but the main thing to do is when you take an action to control your drawdown, again, you need to be aligned with your emotions, how you're feeling, because you really don't want to mess it up. Now, before I leave you, one thing I do want to say, and I feel like I always say one thing I do want to say, and then I end up saying 10 things, right? But I do want to say that when you accept the loss, that you have the risk, and this is only when you lower your risk. What you need to accept is the fact that your profit is going to be lower as well, right? So if you're risking 1R, right? So 1 reward, and then you're risking 1 to earn 2. Normally you would have had in here, let's put it on 1,000. So normally if you would target this, you would have 2,000 in here, right? But now because you're trading on a half risk, you're only having 1,000. So when you halve your risk, when you lower your risk, not only you still need to accept your loss, but you need to accept the fact that you're going to make less profit because your risk is lowered. And this is something that triggers traders. And I have talked to a couple of traders who get triggered. And I'm one of those traders, anytime, because last year I was really, really strict with myself. I would lower the risk when I go in 3 in a drawdown. And then once I go up, I would again increase it and lower it. So I was like lowering and increasing my risk all the time. And I struggled with the fact that, how come I hit 3 losses in a row, take the next trade, it's a winner, and then it doesn't recover because I have lowered the risk. And I had a really, really hard time to accept that my winners are going to be smaller. But obviously, I'm a trader, full-time trader for a long, long time. And still, I'm packing my baggage. I'm learning those lessons. My baggage is still open. I'm not traveling anywhere, right? I'm just packing it. Like I'm putting stuff in my luggage where I pack those lessons that I take, and one of the lessons is that I need to also accept the fact when I lower my risk, my profits will be lower as well. And I know it's a logical thing. I know it's like, it's simple math, right? If you risk with 1% and it's $1,000, then if you're aiming for a 1 hour trade, you're going to make 1,000. And if you have your risk, which is 500, then you need to accept the fact that you will make a 500 profit. But it's tough. It's tough. It's really, really tough. And especially emotionally. Emotionally, it's draining. It can really put you in a bad place. And I know, and I've been there and I've done that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm still packing my baggage. Like, I'm still getting ready until I can say, you know what? I have all the experiences. And to be fair, I don't think that day will ever come, because as traders, I believe that we need to learn every day from all the trades. We need to collect the data, and we just need to make sure that we are executing our trades according to our plan. We are doing everything what we can to control our emotions, and we're making decisions based on how to make us feel more comfortable. Okay. So with that, I want to finish this session. I hope it gave you some ideas how you can manage your drawdown. Hopefully you're not in the drawdown. I hope no one of us is in the drawdown. I do want to say that please join our Discord community. It is a great place to be. And remember to join me for tomorrow's and Friday's session. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Now let's go and control those emotions. Let's take control of our drawdown and do better. Right, traders? Thank you so much. Take care, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.